Good morning everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel here at Northwick. Today we're not actually at Northwick, we're at our research farm at Rowden, which is about, I don't know, a third of a mile away from the home farm. We're still on our Christmas rota. It's the day after Boxing Day today, so there's only two of us on site, and so I'm over doing the feeding up here today. Normally I'd do it at the home farm, but I'm filling in for Dr. Phil, looking after his cattle today. So we've got 3 sheds here to scrape bed and feed. Got the bulls over there, make sure they got some hay in front of them. And yeah, I thought I'd just take you along to what we do over here. I haven't done a video over here this year yet because I haven't been doing the work over here, so it'll be quite fun. We got the Massey Ferguson 6470, got the scraper on the back, it's got the loader on the front to load the Lucas wagon that you'll see in a minute. And yeah, we'll get to work. Before we get into the video, guys, if you'd like to be a legend and hit the subscribe button down below the video, the little bell next to it as well, click that. You'll always be notified about when our videos come out on Wednesdays and Sundays at 9 AM. Right, come on Fergie. Now ordinarily the cattle over here get fed every day. They get fresh food in front of them every day. Phil comes over and feeds them every morning. But as we're sort of still in the Christmas period, what I'll do is I'll put enough food down for them for 2 days. That just means that whoever's here tomorrow just has to come and push the food up with our tyre wheel, like I'm doing now, just pushing the last little bit that they haven't eaten overnight. That way it's just a bit quicker for them in the morning. Then you have the guys that have got kids can get home a bit quicker. Doesn't affect me because I haven't got kids. So. The middle shed here, which is called the brown group, they've eaten all their food, so well done to them. Weird scraping out dung with such a massive tractor. So everyone gets used to scraping with like a 135 or a 250 or something along those lines. Not a 6470. The reason we do it with this tractor is just to save having another vehicle over here. We haven't got a diesel tank over here, so every time we want diesel we've got to go home. So with 2 vehicles, or 2 tractors, one on the feeder wagon, which is also a straw chopper, and one on the loader, which has got the scrape on the back, you can get away with having 2, which I see why it's handy, but I'm just not a fan of loader tractors. Right, that's enough scrapey. We'll go and stick some straw in the tub and start bedding up. Hopefully you have somewhat of a view of what's going on in front. Let's go and open this bale up. We're back. Now, the trick with this system over here, especially with our wagon, is the bucket is wider than the wagon is. So you want to take like half a bucket full of straw, like so, and put in. You can just about get away with putting one bale in the wagon, that'll bed everything up nicely. So cleaned up a load of loose straw. We got 100 kilos in there already. Another 200 in there. Right, so that is 500 kilos of straw. That will do what we want. So I'll take the bucket off now. We always leave the implements on top of a bale, just because it's not an issue with the handler, but you can't see the brackets very easy for looking anything on. If it's down on the floor, obviously the bonnet gets in the way. It's not a stoop nose bonnet on this tractor. So we'll go and bed that up a minute, but we'll put the shear grab on here ready for in a minute. There we are, look, 500 kilos nearly. We'll turn that one round, you can see it in the cab. And then we've got to make sure this one here, this is the flywheel for the straw. You've got to go into gear there. And then that's the one for the spiral. Right, in the 6130M. This is probably the most asked about tractor we have on the channel. People just seem to love this one, which is fair enough. It's a very nice tractor. Now what do I want to do here? These sheds are very nice back here, but they've been sort of built without thinking about how they're going to be used. Before we had this tractor, the 6620s used to do this job, which is a bit more difficult because obviously they're longer, turning lock isn't so good. I can't do what I'm doing now, so now I've got to drive forwards up the feed passage. There's aircon, let's turn that off. I don't know if you can see it behind me, but we got a Lucas combination wagon, so it's got a flywheel on the front for a straw thrower, and then it's obviously got the tub on the back where you load everything into. It's got a door on the side to dispense feed. I'll show you it a bit better in a minute. It is handy for over here. For whatever reason, it doesn't matter what tractor you're on, the power shaft always goes in with a massive bang. And now I say that, it won't, but I'm always frightened you're going to break a shear bolt every time you put it in gear. Of course, it would go in sweet as a nut, wouldn't it? I just have to keep an eye on the scale, because everything we feed and bed over here is weighed and documented. There's obviously a bit of stone in this bale. Close the door. Now this first shed I'm in, we've got it's called the green shed. These are on the green treatment, and there's 30 young ones down there. There's also 12 or so older ones that returned for a second housing. We bed those up as well. was 60 kilos for them. Somewhere in this pocket of stuff I have a little notepad and I keep a note as I'm going. You're going to have to put up with mainly cab footage today because it's really mucky drizzle outside, which does the microphones no good on the GoPros. Well, certainly not on the one that's recording this. It is the next upgrade I want to make. I want to get a second decent GoPro. I've got my own one, which is this one, and we've got an old one that was used for a project or something at work, which is the one I do for like time lapse and other bits and pieces like that. But the audio doesn't work on it, so I'd like to buy either a 9 or a 10 that's got the screen on the front so I can see what I'm filming. I don't know if anyone's got a recommendation of one or the other. And then use the camera that you're watching now as sort of my time lapse and second angle camera. That is the plan anyway. There you are. You hear that bang? What it normally does. Now, one very important thing about these wagons is that when you finish chopping straw and you want to go on to feeding, you've got to make sure this handle here goes back into neutral. Otherwise you end up with silage in the flywheel. It's just a bad day. So we'll start doing some feeding now. Leave that one spinning round so you can mix whatever we put in there. We'll head back to the Fergie and load up some silage. Right, so I got the silage in the wagon for the first group of cows. They're also on sugar beet, so they get a certain amount of that for each group. We put that in the bucket and then tip it in. The rain's really starting to come down now, so I have to leave the camera in here, but we've got 4 bags of sugar beet in the bucket, along with a little bit of minerals and also some distiller's grains. And then that'll be the first load ready to go and feed out. We've got our sugar beet in there. They also get 3 buckets of this, which is distiller's grains, and also a little bucket of minerals as well. We're going to chuck that in the wagon, let it mix up for a bit. Whilst it's mixing, I need to open up the sheds, so we'll do that and then feed it out. At the minute, the scrape passage is open on the end here, which is the door I'm shutting. What I need to do is open up the feed passage, which is this one. So you can see these guys have got a little bit of food left from yesterday. That does happen over the Christmas period because normally there's just one person here feeding, which is Phil. But obviously over Christmas, there's 2 or 3 of us that end up doing the feeding and the work over here. And we just never quite get the levels right, but main thing is they've got food, water and clean bedding, which they do every day. So as long as we tick those boxes, we're doing all right. So let these guys out now to feed whilst the wagon's mixing. All the cattle here in the shed, so the 3 different sheds, are as even as they can be. They're all selected from the calves that were born this spring. So what will they be? A lot of them are February, March, April born. Well, they are February, March, April born, with December now, so somewhere between 8, 9, 10 months. We'll open up the other 2 sheds in a minute, but yeah, so each group will have an even ratio of steers to heifers. There are more steers in each group than there are heifers, just because out of all the calves we have, we take out our own heifers, obviously for breeding. I think John picked 34 this year. We normally pick around 30. We had a few that didn't get in calved this year, so we picked a few more. So yeah, even amounts of steers and heifers. There'll be an even average weaning weight across each pen. That sort of thing. And then I don't know what the algorithm is, but we have an F score for each stabilizer cow. So a purebred stabilizer, if there is such a thing, because they're sort of a hybrid breed, is called an F5, so they get a white tag in their ear. And then as you go down, you get an F4, 3, 2 or whatever. I don't think we have anything below an F3 that was born this year, and we won't have anything below an F4 the coming year. So there's an even distribution of those. Things like birth weight are taken into it as well. It's quite a rigorous algorithm that takes into account what animals end up in these sheds, just so it is an even starting point across all 3 treatments, as we call them. So we know they started pretty well the same. Interesting to see how they finish the winter. So it's raining out here. I'm going to finish closing up these sheds and we'll spit out some food. Right, we're all ready to feed. Cows will come out to see what's going on. I haven't put as much in the wagon for these guys, so they've still got a bit left. So hopefully by tomorrow they'll be back to their sort of normal levels, and then the day after they'll start again. But just whilst we're here, what did everyone get for Christmas? Let me know in the comments what your favourite present was, if you have one. I got this coat from my parents. I've been asking for a new work coat. It's really nice fleece, thick inside one, just because it does get really cold here in the winter. Not so much today, but it's also very waterproof, which is good. And I'm very fortunate. I got quite a lot of nice presents. Got some nice shirts, socks. If you don't get socks at Christmas, what the hell's going on there? And loads of sweets. So let me know in the comments what you got for Christmas. We'll do some feeding. That'll keep them going for a couple of days, hopefully. One thing we do when we feed out the last pen, so this is the last shed I fed this morning, is we've got a fork here. We get up and just try and knock as much as we can off the spiral. So the reason we do that is just so in the morning when the straw goes in first, we're not dragging silage into the flywheel, because even though it's designed to be able to take it, this thing just loves to break shear bolts. When you put this thing in gear, especially with the flywheel on, you can't have any revs on the tractor, you can't be at any sort of angle, you've got to be dead square, and it's just got to feather it in as gently as you can. But when a shear bolt goes on this thing as well, it's not a 5-minute job, so we do everything we can to avoid breaking them. But that's them all fed. I'm just going to park up and then get ready to go back to the other farm. Right, so that's all me feeding and bedding and everything done here. I'm going to head back to the other farm and do the work back there, but you guys see the other farm quite a lot, so we won't bother doing any filming there this morning. Just get the work done so I can go back and see Abby. just one last thing I wanted to mention before I leave you guys this morning. Some of you may know we've been selling a bit of merch for the past couple of months. I've not really been doing it properly. It's a bit of a half-assed attempt, if anything, really. And so I've decided that I'm going to redo merch next year at some point. Don't really know when, but just open that door one-handed. But we will do it again at some point next year. So for the time being, all the merch that I've got left at home, I've put on an eBay shop, so the link will be in the description. If anyone wants any, go over there and have a look. It's really nice stuff. I mean, I wear it every day. Hat, hoodie, I've got a shirt on underneath as well. And we got caps as well, sun hats. So once that's gone, that'll be it for the time being, and then we'll redo something next year. We might change it up slightly. So that's something to look forward to. Thank you guys for watching. As always, give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel, that would be absolutely awesome. If you want to see what goes on here on a daily basis, and follow my socials, they'll be on the bottom of the screen here somewhere now. There are also links to those in the description as well. I do some TikTok lives some days when I'm feeding back home where I've got a phone signal, so if you want to see that, then make sure you go and check that out. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you've had a good Christmas, Happy New Year, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheerio.